What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another segment of HR Heretics. Kelly, we're finally going to do it. We're finally going to talk about astronomers today.
I can't believe it. People have been saying, when are you guys going to talk about it? And I say, well, everyone's been talking about it. Do we really need to kick this tire again? And then like, well, we want to hear your take on it. And Nolan was fishing and river rafting for a week. So
I was whitewater rafting. To be fair, I saw it happen, and then I was like, it was like 2 days before I was on the river, and then I was on the river, and then we had this like Gwyneth Paltrow thing that dropped like 2 days. So I actually think it's a better time to talk about it now because we will have the entire story. So if you have been under a rock or away from your phone forever, what you missed was Astronomer's CEO and Chief People Officer at a Coldplay concert. Just taking in a concert together, as one does. And Coldplay did like the kiss cam thing to where the CEO like had his arms around Chief People Officer, who's a female. CEO's a male. And when it got to them, they like ducked out of the way. And the head singer for Coldplay, which I can't pretend to know this person's name because I'm not the biggest Coldplay,
his whatever, name's
was like, oh, like, it looks like they might be having an affair. So
yeah.
Turns out
either they're really, really shy or we're having an
That's right. Turns out this is the CEO and Chief People Officer of Astronomer, which is a $1.3 billion company that has raised hundreds and hundreds of millions in venture capital. And so I guess, like, Kelly, let's start from the beginning, which is, what's your take on this part of the situation, right? So the story drops, right? They get outed the very next morning. I wake up to a text from friend of the show, David Hanrahan, being like, did you see this astronomer shit? And I was like, 5:45 in the morning. I'm like, what? Like, no. And I was like, oh my God. So what's your take on the original, like, hey, story drops? How do we handle things? What's going on in the world?
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because we're just going to keep it, raw and direct, a little bit light, maybe. Honestly, just speaking as a human, my first reaction, because my wife and I went to see Coldplay, as I told you.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Right before. His name is not whatever. His name is Chris.
Sure, whatever.
We went to see them at Stanford, I don't know, a month before, whatever. And this concert was in Boston. And they did the same thing. These cam things. Not all of them are kiss cams, by the way. He just checks in on people, asks them if they're okay. But there's probably 5 or 6 of them total, maybe 8 of these for what is 60,000 people, Nolan, at these concerts. And
yeah,
so I got to be honest with you, I have a lot of thoughts about this and we will talk about it in all seriousness. But my first reaction, I called Hillary, my wife, and I said, oh my God, what are the odds on this? Ask ChatGPT to do this math. What are the odds that they're going to get chosen? And I kind of was like, oh, I kind of feel a little bit bad for that. Like that.
What is it, like 0.0001?
Those odds are incredible. And she goes, that was probably planned. I'm like, okay, it was not planned. So
definitely not planned.
First of all, yes, for those of us on the line here, clearly not you, Nolan, that entertain Coldplay concerts, very slim odds of that happening. Okay. That was my first, silly reaction. My second reaction, and I want your reaction to this, is if it weren't for the Coldplay concert fun, which I think put a lot of entertainment factor around this.
Yeah.
Do you think this would have gotten as much attention? And the reason I say that is because this happens a lot. And I'm not talking about Chief People Officer, CEO, obviously, but I'm talking about this dynamic. I think it happens more than we might think. And I'll just keep this high level. Like, I have a friend from the past I worked with, 20 years ago, and they were at a company. I'm assuming their relationship was not happening while they were there, but now they're married and et cetera, et cetera. And this was a Chief People Officer, CEO situation. So it's an honest question. Again, I have a lot of thoughts on the ethics around this and blah, blah, blah. So please don't, misunderstand, but this happens a lot. And my question is, do you think it would have gotten this attention if it didn't happen in this way?
I mean, of course not is the answer, but let me start with like I feel like this is karmic justice. Um, like it's not even the infidelity. Like let me just like set that aside. It's more of the hypocrisy. And this is why this shit went hyper viral. Like I think the infidelity piece like kind of was the kindling to the social media stuff, but the hypocrisy is the forest fire. Like that's why this stuff went hyper viral. And the hypocrisy here is we've all been inside companies to where, you know, the CEO and the chief people officer are like, we're a family, you know, we're in this together, like all of this. And like, they're also, that's one aspect. Another aspect is like, you often get these people, specifically in the CTO role, who kind of act like the moral authority, right? Like, you know, they're the ones who are supposed to be the role models for everyone else. They're also the ones that are creating all the structure and rules inside of a company, right? So like, you know, who decides whose pay? Well, those are the two people at the top of the food chain who are seeing every single comp sheet. And so for me, like when I saw this, it was just like, wow, like karma does exist. Like, yes, infidelity, like that's bad. But doing this in this way to where it's disclosed to nobody, there seems to be conflicting reports on the person next to them. Was that the HR lady? Was it not? I actually still don't know today if that's true. But regardless, it doesn't matter because look, when you're at one of these big companies, this is a big company that matters.
Yeah.
You are not subject to the rights of Joe the plumber who owns a 5-person company in Salt Lake, right? Who can do whatever the fuck he wants. Nobody cares about Joe and his small business. This is a $1.3 billion business. Hundreds of millions of dollars in investment capital has been poured into this company. When you take one of these jobs, you don't get the same rights as rank and file employee. And so, you know, the other thing is like you don't get to make the same mistakes as everyone else. And so there was a lot of consternation that next day before I went out on the river about like, well, I don't think that they're going to get fired. Like, I would be shocked. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, these people must go yesterday. Like, this is just like the ultimate form of hypocrisy. They can no longer be here at this company because part of the job of being an executive, especially a C-level executive, especially at a company that matters, is people look up to you. That's part of the job description. Yeah. And they failed.
And those two roles specifically, I know I mentioned this happens, etc. Those two roles, right? Not marketing, not revenue, not the CEO and the people leader. Like, yeah. I think if I asked 10 reasonable humans, like, what are the two roles in a C-suite that are, you know, probably most looked at for upholding X, Y, and Z across the company, it's those two roles. So that combination is insane to me. And, you know, as someone in that role in many companies, you are absolutely right. When you walk in those doors or you show up to a Zoom meeting, right? Everything that you do, from your decisions to your communication style to what you stand for, how you communicate, your facial expressions, people look up and are watching. And what went through my head more so than anything in these roles is the responsibility that we have to those humans. Yeah. Otherwise, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like it's like looking in the mirror and saying one thing and doing the exact opposite. I don't know how you reconcile those things day in and day out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's so like, you know, I had a quick post on LinkedIn and I would say, so taking the other side, right? Like, so you've heard how Kelly and I think about this, you know, taking the other side of what other people are saying. They're saying, well, it's none of our business. Like, this is the worst moment of their lives. And now it's been broadcast on social media. Like, don't contribute to that. And what I got to say to these people is, guys, how much do you think these people make? Like, the part of making that much money Having that title, having all of these people report to you and look up to you, and having investors trust you with their money is that you have a good head on your shoulders.
That's right.
And you're making thoughtful decisions about all aspects of your life. I continue to believe, Kelli, that there is no such thing as work over here and life over here, especially if you're an exec. One person once told me, if they put a V or a C in front of your name, they own you. And that has been so true. I've seen this with so many friends, which is just, oh my God, like my whole life is this company. I'm like, yeah, like you make $4 million a year. You make professional athlete money. If you want to like do something else, go do that. But the trade-off is that like you don't get to make as much and you get to live in obscurity.
Yeah.
This is a public profile job. Every single one of these venture-backed companies that has raised this much money at this valuation, you have a public profile. That's just what it is.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, look at candidates, right? I mean, I think people will be lying if they didn't say for any type of candidate in the past, have you gone on social media? Have you looked at who they are?
Totally. I do it every time. I do it every time.
You do it every time. So that is, and I've talked to, dozens and dozens and dozens of people that do the same thing. And that is an exact proof of these lives now being intertwined. And I'm not here to talk about, the adultery or this or that back to those folks that say they shouldn't have their lives, thrown out there. This isn't about that. This is about work and the responsibility that they took in that position at that company. So that's kind of, personal feelings on the other side of it. Anyone can say, all their opinions, but you're absolutely right that when you are in a high level position of power that's very visible, that is meant to serve others, that's the job, right? Is serving and showing others the right thing. You're going to get blown up out there. And it doesn't just go for business and what we're talking about. It goes for anything. Look what's happening in politics. Like if you are in a position of power doing not good things, it's going to be talked about.
That's just the world we live in.
It's the world we live in.
Hey everyone, we'll be right back in a moment after a word from our sponsors. Your workforce is your organization's greatest strength and often its largest single expense. But without the right tools, understanding where your workforce spend is going or how it impacts your bottom line can be a challenge. That's where Planful comes in. With Planful, HR and finance teams get the clarity they need to make smarter workforce decisions, gain real-time visibility into workforce fluctuations, forecast with confidence, and adjust talent acquisition plans collaboratively based on costs today and into the future. No more guesswork, just data-driven insights to help you plan with accuracy. And the best part, Planful is fast and easy to implement, so you can be up and running in weeks, not months, with minimal IT support. Plus, as your company grows, Planful grows with you, providing endless runway for strategic workforce planning at any scale. Ready to take your workforce planning to the next level? Join over 1,500 organizations already using Planful. Visit planful.com/heretics to learn more.
I must admit, I used to believe that AI didn't actually exist in recruiting or HR. That is until my friend Heather Doche, who leads talent at Signalfire, told me to check out Metaview. I got into the product and was like, wow, AI actually does exist in recruiting, and this product is sick. Metaview is the world's #1 AI scribe built specifically for recruiting. Their AI records and transcribes hiring conversations, like intakes, interviews, and debriefs, then provides perfectly summarized notes of everything that was discussed. I've seen firsthand how tough it can be to extract consistently high-quality data from candidate conversations. I've been in debriefs where interviewers told us about their feelings instead of what actually happened in the interview. And I've seen VPs and CEOs block hires because they didn't learn anything from skeleton scorecards. Metaview changes everything. With perfect notes from every conversation, your people can focus on creating a human connection with candidates, and they can save time on the busy work of cleaning up notes after every interview. But it's so much more than just a time saver, because perfect notes means perfect data. For every candidate and every pipeline, hiring teams can make confident, informed decisions, and talent leaders can finally take control of the interview process. Metaview covers all your compliance needs, works with all your existing tools, and takes less than 3 minutes to set up. Join talent leaders at organizations like Brex, Deel, HelloFresh, and Quora, and check out Metaview. Head over to metaview.ai/heretics to talk to one of Metaview's product experts. Tell them that me and Kelly sent you. Or you could just go to their website and get started for free. You'll be up, running, and AI enabled in minutes. That's just what it is. Like, this isn't, 1920s anymore. And, you can like do shady things with your employees at really high powered, important companies. Like, you just have too much. There's just too much visibility today. Right. Like, and we saw this, the good analog here is like layoffs. Like, remember the better.com layoff? Remember how much shit Vishal, the CEO, took for doing that layoff? Yeah. And like, everyone was like, yeah, like this guy's an asshole. Yeah. And like,
is that the one that got recorded? Is that the one that someone recorded it? That's right. Yes.
Yeah. This is the same thing. It's just like, guys, like everybody has an iPhone. Everybody's recording everything. And so like, I don't want to project my morals onto somebody, and I'm not going to moral grandstand, but what I will say is like, if you're too obtuse to realize that other people might know who you are, like in public, you're dumb. Like, you're just dumb. Now, if it happened behind closed doors, right, I might have a different take. I still have an issue with the subordinate relationship, especially like C-level to C-level without board knowledge. I still have an issue with that, but I would be much more sensitive to these two people if it was like behind closed doors and like some sort of tape came out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love that you said that, because I think you're going to get lit up for that.
In what way?
Like, I think Nolan's just going to get lit up for that. Because I don't. I feel the opposite. And the reason I feel the opposite is because of everything I just said about those roles and the decision making that you're doing, whether you're at a Coldplay concert, which, like, why would you go to that? Why would you go to that, first of all? But whether you're at the Coldplay concert or in a basement where no one can see you, it is still a decision that I fundamentally believe impacts the way that you interact and run the company together. And that impacts the hundreds or thousands of people that you are responsible for.
Yes, I agree. I think that's a good take. Now, look, play it out with me. We're in a hypothetical, right? Things happen. They fall in love.
Right. Let's just pretend the audience will love this. Let's pretend.
Yeah.
Let's pretend
so
that I'm the
it's
CEO.
All private.
Let's pretend that I'm the CEO and you are the chief people officer.
Let's not do that.
Nolan and I are in love. That is wonderful. You need to choose what world you're going to give up.
No, I don't. No, I disagree. So what I would do, actually, I don't know what I would do, because I would never just fuck the situation. But what you should do is tell the board. You should tell the board and say, hey, like, we want to put everything on the table. Things happen. Kelly and I fell in love. Right.
This is incredible.
I can't believe you used this
as
an example.
I'm so glad you did this, even though
I'm now uncomfortable, which is rare. So that has to be the thing.
100%.
Has to be.
I skipped over that because that is just table stakes to me.
But that's not what happened here, right? So
it's not what happened here. But no, if you say, listen, here's the deal, and if you're a board that's worth your salt, you're going to say one of you has to go. Like, this can't.
Yeah, and it's definitely the chief people officer, by the way.
Probably, but
yeah. And then what they're going to do? They're going to say, okay, well, there's probably some sort of severance, right? Because it's weird for the company, weird for the CPO.
Of course.
Like,
it'll be like all the exit departures we've talked about the last 2 years.
Exactly.
I'm just telling you, we know what relationships are like. We know that they're not objective. So I really do not believe that you would run the company the same and have
Agreed.
the same dynamics if you weren't together. I really don't. And that impacts the business, and that impacts the people that, again, that you're responsible for. So that's my final.
Yeah, you're totally right, because like the thing that I always preach is merit, and this is what I was like preaching on LinkedIn, is like I believe in meritocracies, and I know a lot of people have just collectively rolled their eyes and shut their podcast app off. I do. Like I it's kind of like, it's like the United States. It's like there is no such thing as a perfect democracy, but like we're trying to make it more perfect every day. And I do believe in that. And when you have a relationship like this, especially between these two roles, it just can't fucking be true. Like it cannot be true. Like there is way too much personal stuff that's now in every conversation, not just comp, right? Not just like terminations, but like in the exec meeting. Like, can you imagine the exec meeting dynamics of this, Kelly? Like what the fuck is happening in there?
Yeah, no, it's bullshit. It will never, ever work. And anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So like, let's go back to the story. So luckily we're recording today, because over the weekend, did you see the Gwyneth Paltrow thing? Are you kidding me?
I did it. We're all friends here on the show. I had my mom's celebration of life on Saturday.
Okay.
100
awesome.
people over this house. It was incredible. So I just my in-laws were in, and I didn't look at anything.
Okay. So Astronomer launches on Twitter maybe the best response to this situation possible. All right. Here we go.
Do you just want to explain it to me?
No, you have to see it.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300+ employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
So the tweet is, thank you for your interest in Astronomer. They paid Gwyneth Paltrow to come on and essentially like twist the story away from CPO CEO into, hey, here's what Apache Airflow is, which I still don't understand. Oh, by the way, we have this conference coming up. Oh, by the way, we have 300 people who work here, and like they're dope. Like marketing geniuses. And I got to give like a massive round of applause to whoever the psychopath was that decided to pitch this idea. You, my friend, you have screws loose, and I like where they're loose. And number two, the board for being like, let's fucking roll it. Like what? Who in their right mind would ever do this? And it's the perfect play. It completely meets the social media moment of what they're in. I was like, oh my God, if I wanted to go be a chief people officer again, you know where I'd want to go do it? Astronomer. Like, masterclass.
Your screws are loose too. I found that embarrassing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What? So you know what my takeaway was? I mean, yeah, it's hilarious. I have a great sense of humor. I get it. But honestly, my takeaway is you're just gonna ignore this whole thing. And not
ignoring it. They can't ignore it.
Not acknowledge anything. You're just gonna kind of make a joke about it. That was one of my reactions, dude.
All right. So yeah. I mean, I guess like my take is like, this is like, they're definitely talking, like they fired the CEO, they fired the CPO, right?
I know.
So,
I know. I just,
they got this stuff going on. How do you do it? So like, what's the other list, right? So like, let's go through the alternatives.
I actually love it. I think it's great. I think it alone without some kind of acknowledgement is not great.
Yeah, there's been like it's a good point because there was like a press release that then was like debunked and people were like, that's fake. Here's the main thing. What I'll say, Kelly, is like, I actually don't give a shit about us. I don't care about Nolan, Kelly, whoever's listening to this podcast, LinkedIn, X. What I care about are the 300 people who have decided to bet their careers and time on this company, who have equity. And so, like, let's just make, like, the only thing I care about is that those people have somebody who, like, jumped in right away and was like, I got your back. This is fucked up. We don't take stuff like this. We are going to fix it. And we're going to come out on the other side even stronger than before. Like, that has to be true. And none of us know if that happened because I'm sure that those people are getting hit up by everybody and their mother and not talking.
Now that I completely agree with, and I've been saying this whole segment, is the responsibility to those 300 people is the most important thing. And that was the foundation of everything that I've said.
Yep.
Now, then we could talk about, consequences and ripple from this, which may suck for other CEOs, other chief people officers. Like, I got a few jokes like, hey, are you know what I mean? Like,
oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Like, that's kind of shitty because you kind of piss in the lemonade for everyone else a little bit. I mean, if I'm a early career person and I don't really know great C-suite leaders, or I haven't worked with many people, and I see this, like, now it's kind of a little bit of an incline that you got that might, even if it's a joke, it's still a thing.
That's a good take, especially in the moment of, 2 weeks ago, I went and saw like one of the fastest growing companies in Utah, and the CEO told me they have deleted HR. That was his exact quote, right? If you look at the X comments from when this originally dropped, a lot of what you will see is from CEOs saying like, this is why I hate HR. Right? Like, it's all this like moral authority, grandstanding bullshit. And it's I said this, in one of my comments, but it's like the thing that really pisses people off is rules for thee, but not for me.
That's
right. And so like, you're actually totally right, Kelly, is that it kind of like, it adds fuel to the fire of what people are already experiencing in this job today.
Yeah. I mean, someone asked me like, what has been one of the biggest challenges or focus areas across your whole career? And for 25 fucking years, you know what it's been? Getting employees to trust me. Like, convincing employees that I'm not that HR person. I mean, it's a hurdle that's usually always been climbed, and cleared for good reason, but like, this has not been helpful. And on the other side, I looked at the CEO's background. I was like, oh, here's the other generalization for you. Oh, this guy's not, he's a revenue officer by career, sales leader most of the time. So that sucks too. So it's just, again, your responsibility to people inside and outside. It's just shitty and selfish. So
what do you think's going to happen with these people?
I don't know, but I told Hillary multiple times, I was like, oh, I almost have empathy. Can you imagine the drive home from that concert? Damn, that sucks.
No, I actually don't think they realized it on the drive home. I thought there was gonna be like, I don't think they were really worried about it. I can't imagine, being the wife of the CEO who I saw everyone comment on her Facebook. Yeah. Like, that's fucked up. That's brutal. That's the thing is like, I do, we have basically ignored this topic, but like 2 families are getting ripped apart on this one. I feel for the other spouses. I feel for the kids. That stuff is like super, super fucked up. I have a hard time though, Kelly, thinking these people can ever work and venture again.
It's going to be tough. We always tell the truth on here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, part of me is like, well, do you start your own thing then? But like, you can't do that because if you start your own thing, you need more agency and trust and credibility than you do being inside. So I'm just not sure, Nolan.
Yeah, I can't see it. Like, I can see it maybe after like a full mea culpa, and like owning and what went wrong. And, you know, like, you, at this point, I think the only path you have is you just have to start telling the truth.
Yeah.
You got to tell everybody what happened. You got to put it all out there. Because otherwise, like, why would somebody ever want to work with you?
That's correct. Or work overseas. It's another option.
I think X still works over there. But I could be wrong. Anyways,
yeah, it's gonna be tough. So yeah, I'm glad we covered it. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, this one was fun. It's good to see everybody, by the way. Let us know what you guys want to hear. Me and Kelly are going to be coming in with all the hot takes soon. So talk to you guys soon. Peace. HR Heretics is a podcast from Turpentine, the network behind Econ 102, Moment of Zen, and Turpentine VC. Subscribe, 5 stars, share it on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, all the things.